this is what I took from it, is that, my belief is that we create our own heaven and hell on earth. We are able to do that. We create our own heaven and hell. We do this. And how do you know what you're doing? Well, you can know by just the feeling. If something feels heavy and if you're in that state of heaviness, and we've all had that heavy feeling of what's going on, oftentimes in my experience, it's me telling myself a story that's led to that weight that's creating my own little hell. I'm in the middle of this. I've been in the middle of this for months, creating my own story that's trapped me. Well, how do I know when I'm in heaven? Well, it feels light. There's joy. I believe that light and joy is a default nature of us. If you don't believe that, and look at kids, they tell you light and joy is our default nature, and we can create that as well. And so something I took from Tim in the episodes is, okay, Chris, when you have this light feeling, you're creating your heaven. When you have this heavy stuff going on, you're creating your hell. Well,
business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Ramona. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness.
Shout out to my sponsors, A Mind for All Seasons. Your brain is your greatest competitive edge, so why not optimize it? Just text OPTIMIZE to 72000, 72000 for instant access to 6 quick videos that help you think faster, remember more, and stay focused longer. A big thanks to Epic App, the 4-step storytelling system I use every day to connect and to convert. Try it free. Email me at stever1961@gmail.com. That's stevr1961@gmail.com, and I'll get you the free app. Doing Business with a Servant's Heart was just named top 6 in small business marketing. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. You all know that, but for you new people that have come in, that's who I am, this crazy mug that you're looking at. I'm really fired up today because sometimes you meet some guys, did their podcast, they're incredible hosts. We'll talk about that. But you just connect with people. And you know what the cool thing is? The law of reciprocity. These guys have given to me, they've given back, they've given to me, given back. And that's what life should be about, and especially because this is Doing Business with a Servant's Heart, how business should be about. So let's bring our guest on today. Chris, Dmitri, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. So good to be here.
happy to be here, Steve.
Chris, we'll start with you. Servant's Heart. What pops in your head when you hear that?
Oh man, I love that phrase. What I immediately feel when you say that is, it's funny. There's a term I'm studying, karma yoga, which is to do something with everything in you to the best of your ability, with no attachment to the result. So when you say a servant's heart, then I think that is the definition of love, where you are giving, and to be giving is the reward itself. To give with no expectation, truly no expectation, truly detached, just to do it for the sake of doing it with everything in you. To me, that karma yoga is also servant's heart.
I love karma yoga. I wrote that down. I'm going to look that up. We'll talk more about that. Audience, you do the same. How about you, Dmitri?
Well, first of all, one of the things I love about Chris the most, he's so introspective, self thinking, and is a deep thinker, and what he said was such a great answer, and I love that, and he lives that. And Steve, it was also great to have you on the podcast, get to know you, because I mean, we can feel that servant's heart through the camera, and well, it's great to be on the show. And for me, a servant's heart it's actually pretty simple. It's simply doing what you said you were going to do. And I think if we all could do more of what we say we're going to do, then we can be servants to each other and to ourselves. And that's how I want to live. Is I don't want to commit to something that I know I'm not going to do, but if I commit to it, I want to go ahead and do that, and that's going to serve others.
It's beautiful business practice. Anybody listening? I know a lot of you business people, you just do that, you're going to have a great 2026. So Dmitri, let's take that phrase, servant's heart, into business? You both guys run a business, and I'll get Chris's answer on this. How do we do the servant's heart in business so it's successful and it's not demeaning?
Again, it's doing what we say we're going to do. And there's this disconnect oftentimes between sales and then fulfillment. And you get these great sales teams who will sell you the moon. And then you get into the fulfillment turn, and all of a sudden you're talking to somebody else and they don't even know what was sold, and they're trying to figure it out and they're not doing it. And the whoever you're working with is overseas, and it's confusing. And anyway, it's like, hey, this is not what I was promised. So if a business simply just did what the sales team promised, then they would serve. Simple as that.
Yeah. Dmitri or Chris, I think you guys are one and the same. I keep calling you guys each other's names. Go ahead, Chris.
Gosh, that's a really good question. What I feel when you say that, to do that in business, it's tricky, right? Because in business you got to pay bills. You know, you gotta keep the lights on. You got to keep people on staff, and so you have to make money, and also it cannot be all about the money. So there's this weird juxtaposition, right? So what comes to mind for us, shout out to my business partner, Daniel. Daniel, very strong in his faith, and has impacted me as a result. And the way we do this at our company is that I'll give you a real life example. We have a client who just has a pretty big budget and is willing just to throw money at stuff, throw money at problems. And we have to be like, hey, actually, don't give us more money. You probably should go do this instead. It would save you that money. Or, hey, don't make this decision. I know you think it's right, but it's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars. It could possibly hurt your business. Whereas maybe another marketing company would go down that path with him because it would benefit them. So a servant's heart to us in our business is looking out what is in the best interest of the client at the end of the day. And our business we were 95% referral, has dropped down to closer to 85, between 85 and 90. But we're so referral heavy, well, because we do right by people, and then they go tell others. And so it comes back.
Sign me up for that. Audience, you better be raising your hand and signing up for 85%, 90%, 60%. Because I love that you said that, because that's the world today is pitch. I just got pitched this morning on LinkedIn. Hey, you've got this podcast. You're super successful, but you need me. I'm like, that's a juxtaposition again. I love that word. I can't say it. It's, wait, I'm successful and I need you? Wait a minute. And to turn away a client because you can't help them, or even send them to somewhere else, that's the true servant heart. And Chris, you're successful, right? Your business is successful. So you can serve and give away clients, or say no to a client when it comes to money, and you're still successful. That's a message I want to get out in 2026. You're both family men. And one thing about you two that I learned when I did your podcast, and I don't think I've told you this, and I'll say it in the record podcast, is your family integrity is so high. But the problem is, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs that are going into entrepreneurship or struggling in their husbands. And you guys could, either one of you come up or both, what's your tip for that husband that's running a business? Maybe they're struggling, or maybe they're starting.
This is a pretty big topic. I'm actually working on a deep dive into this, and hoping, because I know a lot of people are struggling with how much time should I spend here and there, and with my family and with myself, all these things, and you don't know. And oftentimes the business actually becomes the trap. It becomes the easy thing to go to when everything else is hard at home, or in the rest of the life. Like, I'll work on business kind of a hiding place, so to speak. So first of all, you got to figure out what's really going on and understand what the problems are and where you actually need to address things in what order. And so let's say if somebody's a husband and a father, they're really struggling with finances, then yeah, I mean, finances is definitely an important place to go into and try to build that business. But don't cheat yourself. Don't lie to yourself that you're doing this all for your family. Oftentimes you're doing it for yourself. So you got to figure out where you are. I'll pass it over to Chris here.
All right, that's great, Dmitri. Thank you for saying, because order is the word I got from that. having order makes it much easier. Thank you. Go ahead, Chris.
I love Dmitri because like our friend Kazim Aslam, shout out to him. By the way, he should be on this show, Steve. We'll talk
Okay.
about that.
Yep.
But Dmitri, he said he describes Dmitri perfectly, where Dmitri can cut to the heart of things, right to it. And so what Dmitri just said at the end is true. Is just don't lie to yourself. Talking about you doing this for your family or this, that, and whatever it is, and just don't lie to yourself. And part of that not lying to yourself is, oh, okay, I'm going to work 12 hours because I need to get this business off ground. Well, really, when you look at those 12 hours, if you really dive into it, how many hours did you really work? Like, what you really do in those 12 hours? And oftentimes, those 12 hours, you probably had 3-4 hours of real, maybe of real productivity. So it's not this, grind or I'm doing it for my family. There's something else going on there. And when you get honest with yourself about why you're really doing it and how you're really doing it, which is easier said than done, then shifts start to happen. At least that's been my personal experience.
How important is purpose for both of you? Knowing that purpose make this easier to be a husband and a business owner.
Why don't you take this, Chris?
Oh man,
Follow you. Go ahead.
Dimitri went and asked a bunch of people a question similar to this, and it got real deep. To what purpose? Why are you doing? It gets this question can be an entire podcast. For me, to keep it simple, I feel like my purpose right now is to let, when I'm sitting here talking to Steve and Dimitri, that I'm letting the divine work through me. I'm here so that God can work through me. However, it could be a simple conversation at a grocery store. Again, this podcast, an interaction with the listener right now. My purpose is to let God work through me. And so, how do I answer that question? Like, to what? It is just that when I am doing work, it is okay. I'm letting God work through me. I'm here right now, giving this the best of my ability. Karma yoga with no expectation to the result. I did my best. Okay, I've done my best on this task. It is now 5 something. I could go and try to force it or do more, but I've done my best now. Now it's time to get up and go be with my wife and my daughter and then go be with them. And again, let God work through me by being present with them. This can get super deep, but that's a high level of what my purpose is.
Yeah, we need a 2-hour podcast for that. I would jump all over that. You've humbled me because I love purpose and I found my purpose and I know you guys have, and it changes your life. It just makes life so much. Yeah, you're gonna have bumps in the road. That happens as entrepreneurs and owners, and it is what it is. But podcasting, because you guys are incredible. I know I keep saying that, but audience will get the name of their podcast. You need to listen to it, especially my show. Half kidding. But how's podcasts fit into business, purpose, family? How do you make that as part of the umbrella?
Yeah, podcasting is definitely part of it. Purpose is such a big question. And yeah, we need several hours on this. I want to also mention that not everyone is going to find their purpose right away. And I think what's important to note is that you can at least start going in the right direction. And the concept that Chris just brought up is channeling the divine through him is a kind of a great way to give up the having to figure it out on your own and just letting things come to you and through you. And I think that's really great. There's also that saying of easy decisions, hard life, hard decisions, easy life. Either way, there's going to be something hard that you have to do. And so purpose kind of gives you a little bit of motivation maybe or inspiration to go maybe into the hard decisions direction. I also feel like the hard decisions direction, hard decision, easy life type. I mean, what better thing do we have to do other than to go through that process and the ups and downs of it and the challenges of it? So that's my take on purpose. I don't personally have my purpose figured out, but I at least feel like I have steps into the right direction. And then one of those steps is the podcast. First of all, it's given Chris an opportunity. I mean, Chris and I, the opportunity to get to know each other even better, be connected, stay connected all the time. But then we've started to bring on guests who we just like you, Steve, who we connected with immediately, want to have these relationships ongoing for decades, and we feel like it's part of this process of letting things channel through us, and good things can come from it.
How about you, Chris?
Man, Dimitri hit the nail on the head. Is there's a book out there called The Surrender Experiment that I just finished that I'm practicing, and the ethos of it is, I'll try to keep it really short, is a situation happens, God does this, the divine, the universe, whatever you want to call it, does this thing, you accept it for what it is, like this is really happening, this is the God speaking to me, the universe speaking to me. Then you say, okay, how would I react if I removed my emotions from the situation? Then you take that action. That action is not an action of being resigned. It's an action of, again, karma yoga, giving it your best. That's kind of the four-step process. So my whole point is to this whole thing with the podcasting is, Steve, you got on our show and it wasn't like I knew you or Dimitri knew you. That just kind of happened, right? And this is something that God made happen. And then, okay, we accept it. This is what we do. Oh, this we really connected with Steve. Steve was somebody that we want to have a long-term friendship with. So then we go with that. Point being is to answer your question, is this the podcast? We have, Dimitri and I have things we want to do in these goals, but ultimately the divine and God or whatever it is has a say. Um, and then we take that and we go with it. We are channeling the divine through us. And part of that is like jujitsu. You just go with what's happening. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. So we just go with what happens.
This is so great because you're selling podcasting, and I had to back off because a year, 6 months ago, I think everybody should have a podcast. I realized like not everybody should do marketing, not everybody should be a mechanic. Podcasting is for a certain group, but it's very powerful, and you guys are proving that. Can each one of you share a story, one of your podcast guests that just blew you away? Not me, because you said enough about me, but pick each one of your favorites. I know you probably have many, but somebody that blew you away. Go ahead, Dimitri.
Well, we have a segment on the show called "Man in the Arena." It's based on the Teddy Roosevelt quote. Basically, the person who's in the arena is the one who deserves the credit, whether they win or lose. But at least they're out there living instead of being a critic. And so we've asked that a lot of our guests to name something, a challenge in their life that they were able to, they got beat up, but they stood back up and ultimately were very successful from that. And we heard stories of deep family challenges and traumas. You guys should definitely come check out our show, Amazing Marketing Show, and check out those stories, because we're on there, and it's like, oh, you get goosebumps all of a sudden. I almost don't want to mention anyone specific. It's so many good stories. Chris, do you remember anything like in particular?
From the Man in the Arena, there's some that come to my, gosh, there's so many, because you get to see how people reacted at their worst. And that's when you really learn a lot about people. But then to answer your question, Steve, one of the things that immediately comes to my mind is Tim. Give me Tim's last name one more time, Steve.
Sure. Tim Sure. Hypnotist.
Tim Sure. Yeah, the hypnotist, Tim Sure. That episode I really, really loved. Because Tim is plugged in to whatever it is. Tim is plugged in, and something that stuck with me that I've implemented in my personal life is Tim's. I'm gonna abbreviate, but Tim basically said, I believe, and these are my words. This is what I took. Tim said something. This is what I took from it. Is that my belief is that we create our own heaven and hell on earth. We are able to do that. We create our own heaven and hell. We do this. And how do you know what you're doing? Well, you can know by just the feeling. If something feels heavy, and if you're in that state of heaviness, and we've all had that heavy feeling of what's going on, oftentimes in my experience, it's me telling myself a story that's led to that weight that's creating my own little hell. I'm in the middle of this. I've been in the middle of this for months, creating my own story that's trapped me. Well, how do I know when I'm in heaven? Well, it feels light. There's joy. I believe that light and joy is a default nature of us. If you don't believe that, then look at kids. They tell you light and joy is our default nature. And we can create that as well. And so something I took from Tim in the episodes is, okay, Chris, when you have this light feeling, you're creating your heaven. When you have this heavy stuff going on, you're creating your hell. Well, what's going on? Why are you creating this? What story are you telling yourself?
I'm really I'm a loss for words right now, because you just taught me some audience. Hope you picked that up. Heaven and hell, and religious or not, good, bad, you can use evil, whatever words or labels you put on it. Yeah, because there's our own making. And thank you for sharing that, because that's the power of podcasting. It not only changes the audience, but it changes you guys and us as hosts, right? It just makes that change. God, you guys are blowing me away. Our audience, we'll get this podcast out because you're going to need to listen to it. It's just awesome. God, I lost my train of thought. Oh, marketing. That's your guys' expertise. And I got to tell you, you guys hit the gold bar. You're not the silver bar. You're not the plutonium bar. Whatever IUM bars there are, all those different metals. You're the gold standard bar because you serve in your business and you're experts. How do people get there? Tough question, I know. I just realized.
Oh man, I like to speak on Dmitri, if you don't mind. I got to know Dmitri through the world of marketing. He's become a brother to me. And when I watch Dmitri work, is this odd combination of art and science. Dmitri's a Renaissance man. So usually you have people who have art and then they have science. I lean more towards art with my marketing. Dmitri, again, Renaissance man, has them both, right? Walking calculator and also could write a poem or break down art for you, quite literally break down art. What, anyways, here's my point. That 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 ability didn't come from I'm gonna go to college and then get a marketing degree and then go get a job and work in a cubicle and then clock in, clock out. No, that came from an interest, an interest, some innate talent that was already there, and then work, hard work. So I think that whatever the task is, if you like it and you have some kind of innate talent for it and you work your butt off, then you get good. You get the gold standard. And that's what I've seen in Dimitri. And I think some of that applies to me as well.
Yeah,
I praise there, Dmitri.
Yeah, no, it's tremendous praise, and it's really an honor to hear that from Chris. And Chris is really the same way. He's a marketing genius, and I want to point this out to, like, I think probably in both our stories, I actually know that we both came from the affiliate world, and the important part is that we risked our own money to see if we can get a return on it online. Most of marketing, the way it happens and why it doesn't work is people, like Chris mentioned, the ones going to college getting marketing degrees, they never risk their own money. They work for a corporation or company where there's a budget, blah, 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 whether there's a return or not, it almost doesn't matter because it's already allocated. There's other people that may be responsible for it. You might have your boss, whatever. But if you're an affiliate marketer, and I'm not trying to say that like in a bad way, affiliate marketing doesn't mean anything negative. It just means you're risking your own money to promote other people's products. And so when it's your own money on the line, you have to actually figure stuff out. And that's the big, if you're willing to figure stuff out and test it on the math side, on the art side, you'll be successful. Simple as that.
Audience, I hope you're taking notes. I'm glad I got an iPad here because if I had paper, I'd be flipping that paper like 3 or 4 times. So many golden nuggets you're putting out. Let's do this. I usually ask this dinner question, but I'm going to switch it for you guys. I want each of you to ask the man in an arena question to each other. I'll start with you, Dmitri. Ask that question to Chris. I want to hear his answer. Chris, you asked that to Dmitri. I want to hear his answer.
All right, Chris, you're the man in the arena, and you are for sure the man in the arena. I know you, man. So give us a story of how you were punched in the face. You got back up.
Oh man, I am currently in the arena. Fellows and listeners, and Dmitri knows all too well, I am in it right now. Every part of my life is have some sort of chaos. Every important part of my life, my marriage, which me and my wife are good, is just a strenuous time. We're the closest we've ever been, and it's been super hard at the same time. My immediate family, mom and dad, and all that stuff going on with Christmas coming up, and all this other stuff going on with there, and then our business under threat, lost a bunch of money these last 3 or 4 months. And as a result of all of that, then my health, I get diverticulitis flares because of all that stress or whatever. So every aspect right now is under chaos. And here's the thing, fellas, this is the most peace I've ever had at the same time. So let's go back to the word of juxtaposition. Utter, abject chaos, horror, right? And then also utter peace. And what's the reason why that has happened is because of what we were talking about earlier. I know, and I don't care, whatever you believe, it's not even being religious, just whatever it is, I am not in control. There is something greater happening. And there was me, and I don't want to talk too long, but there's the egoic me. The ego is tricky. The ego is really tricky because you have the ego, then it could be like, oh, this is happening for you, and this is to make you stronger. And that's still the ego, right? What really is happening is this is just happening. Whatever it is, God, is just happening, and I'm here to experience it. And I'm here just to do that, to experience it, detach my emotions, detach from it, and respond with karma yoga. And that is it. That simple, not making some story of it or making it some spiritual crucible that's going to make me stronger at the end of it. This is just what's happening right now. So that gives me peace amongst utter chaos. Dmitri,
Well,
I'd
hold
like to
on,
ask you.
Chris. Hold on, because that, I mean, first of all, I mean, what a treat it is to be friends with Chris Gray, who's, I like seriously, like, who's gonna say that, and he actually lives by it. But what I want to note is that if you're a business who's looking for like a local marketing agency, how would you not want Chris to run your ads? Whether there's chaos or not going on in the world in that business that you have, and your marketing guy, he's calm, collected, and he's doing what needs to be done without an emotional component to it. He's locked in. Like, how do you not hire Chris? Seriously.
Amen. Oh, I love it. Love it. I agree. Chris.
Dimitri, tell us about your man in the arena moment. I know that you have no shortage of these moments.
All right. Let's see. There's the one that's the biggest one that's related to the business I have now, Big Life Marketing, is when I was working at another agency with some of my closest friends, actually my groomsmen, and that those relationships ended up falling apart for very unfortunate reasons, and it was devastating. I ended up getting these pretty severe skin precancerous spots, and like it was a very turbulent time. At the same time, I was going through the first year in my marriage. We were moving. My grandma got really sick. I was in the hospital with her. I was preparing for these presentations that night while I was preparing for this talk that I was going to have at a high-end mastermind while I was sitting with my grandma in the hospital while she was having hallucinations. It was just absolutely crazy. And then this mastermind where I'm going to present very high level people, which I was invited not to just be there but to speak, was a complete shock and honor. At the time I was not qualified, and the day, or actually a couple days before, I got as sick as I've ever been. I ended up going through with that presentation, and then right off that presentation I got what ended up being um, uh, like an amazing client, and it was the turning point, jumping off point for my business. And yeah, I'm very proud of that part too, and I did feel like the man in the arena at that point. At least looking back on it, at the time I wish it wasn't the case, but that was my story.
You guys tell these stories, I think, in the movie Gladiator when he's in the arena. I think maybe that's what you're talking about with Russell Crowe. Yeah, Russell Crowe's
Mhm.
fighting Joaquin
Yeah, are you
Phoenix.
not entertained?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you guys are bringing out, and we're going to end here. I got one more quick question. This is what a servant heart does, audience. See how transparent they were? Those are big times in their life, and they're still standing, and they're still fighting, and they're still trying to do good every day they can. And that's why I love these guys. I literally love these guys. Real quick, I'm going to ask the question about dinner anyways, because you guys are so awesome. So I'm going to have you tell me one person who's been an influencer in your life that you would invite to dinner. We're all going to sit down, including me. And what food would you order for the table?
So the person that we're inviting and the food that we're ordering.
Yes.
Person that we know, or could be anybody?
Anybody that's influenced your life, videos, person, whatever.
Okay. I need a second here.
I would invite Eckhart Tolle. Is the most I've read his books over and over and over again, the most the last, I don't know, year or so. So I'll invite him since it's so fresh. Author of Power of Now and New Earth. And then when we're all at the table, me, Steve, Dimitri, Eckert, I'm going to have my mom cook Jamaican food, so that we have conversation. Plus, there'd be a story to each dish, because it's my mom's cooking, and I'm biased towards her Jamaican food because it's the best I've had. So that's what I would do.
400 shows I've asked that question. Nobody's invited their mom yet. You just got the golden ticket. That's great. I love that. I can't wait to eat it. Go ahead. You got one, Dmitri? I know it's a tough
Oh
question.
man, yeah, it's so tough because I'm trying to think of where do I want to take it, like a marketing inspiration or philosophical inspiration,
Mm,
U.S., America inspiration, like a John Locke or something, and and um, you know what? Let's just go with him. Actually, maybe I doubt anyone said this before, but John Locke, who wrote the Common Sense for the U.S. And I mentioned my grandma too, but originally my family's from the Soviet Union, and we all drew a lot of inspiration from the project that is the United States and the freedoms and all this. And so so many things stem off of that of including the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and many of the structures that we take for granted these days. And so I'm going to have John Locke come with us, and we're going to eat. I'm originally from Maryland, and the Chesapeake Bay is, I would say, arguably the best seafood in the country. So we're going to get some of those steamed Maryland blue crabs with corn and sausage, and get this whole type of seafood platter with shrimp and send some fish from the bay too, and we'll put Old Bay on it. So it's going to be amazing.
Not only are you guys super smart, you're great foodies. Foodies like cray. I'm so excited to be at that table, and we may have to make that happen. I don't know if we get John Locke, but is Grandma still around, Chris?
my mom's still around.
Yeah, well, let's have her. Well, see,
Yeah.
And audience, real quick, I met these guys a couple months ago, a month ago. I don't know what the time frame is. We hit off that conversation we just had. Now they inspire you, educate you, and motivate you. They did that with me. We're friends now. We're going to do things together, and not just business wise, but just do the. And that's why a podcast and meeting people, you never know what's going to happen. Chris and Dmitri, God bless you. Thank you for spending the time with my audience on the show. Chris, how can the audience reach out to you and learn more?
You can find me at Yo Chris Gray everywhere. So that's Y Yo and then Chris Gray, ChrisGray. I'm everywhere, but I'm most active on Facebook. If you DM me there, you'll actually get me to DM back. Then I have my own website, yochrisgray.com. You can subscribe to the newsletter there as well. Then the last thing is the Amazing Marketing Show. Dmitri has all the please, Dmitri, talk about how they can get a hold of you, but also the show as well. You do a better job of that than I do.
Yeah, so the Amazing Marketing Show, we bring on experts in the business and marketing world, and we go deeper than most marketing shows, I think, and we get into the personal side. And so Amazing Marketing Show, check it out on YouTube. Just Google the name Amazing Marketing Show, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever, Spotify. And we got a newsletter too that you should get on it. It's like good information. So that's all once you find Amazing Marketing Show. And then for me, I run a marketing agent called Big Life Marketing. And anyway, long story short on Big Life Marketing is we are trying to serve, and we go for nationwide or worldwide businesses that are marketing all around the country, and have bigger budgets. And the best way to hit us up is biglifemarketing.com, or you can hit me up on Facebook directly, Dmitri Smirnov. Just go there.
Yeah, I'm going to do something you probably rarely, I don't know if anybody's doing this on podcasts. You guys inspired me even before the show. I was so fired up. I couldn't wait to start it. So audience, I'm going to give you guys a gift. The first 3 people that reach out to Chris or Dmitri and sign up for the newsletter, I'm sending you a free book that's made me probably $100,000 next year. So you have to mention the podcast. You can reach out to Chris or Dmitri. They're 50-50. I'm not going to say one's better because they're not, but either one of them reach out. You don't reach out to me, you got to reach out to them, but you also got to show that you signed up for the newsletter, because I know you're going to get value from that. And I'm going to send you a book. It's one of my favorite success books in the world. And I just sent a book yesterday to somebody from a podcast. So let's make sure we do that. Thanks again, guys. audience, I talk about my podcast, subscribing. I'm changing. These guys have inspired me. Subscribe to a podcast. It could be this show, whatever, to amazing marketing. Because here's why. These are absolute gifts. It's December 19th. We're 6 days from Christmas. What do? We give gifts. Podcasts are gifts. They're not TV shows. They're not movies. But if you gave somebody this podcast and they listen to Chris and Dmitri for 10 minutes and they're inspired, they're motivated, and they're educated, did you make an impact in their life? Absolutely. I do it all the time. So use these resources. Subscribe to Doing Business with Servant's Heart or the Amazing Marketing Show, and just take care of people. With that being said, Chris, Dmitri, and Steve I call myself third person, want to thank you all for watching or listening. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.